Speak for yourself. This is highly dangerous, at least.
I have the map right here, Shipset, and it clearly states considerable risk.
Well, Mr. I Can Read, we're actually here. And I'm telling ya, this place is highly dangerous, thanks to all your stupid mining.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Salami. In today's video we are doing a review and performance check on Akimbot, and this is on Steam and it's just released a couple of weeks ago, and it's actually a really solid title, so that is what we're going to do. But before we get started, just a quick thing. In the comments below you will see a link and a code, and that will take you to Shockbite, which allows you to host private service for some of your favorite games like Minecraft and 7 Days to Die. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Okay, so this game is a third-person action-adventure game. Platforming, I should add platforming. We don't see many of these now. We're at the end of the run for action platformers. I feel the only real one left is Ratchet and Clank by Sony. So and Astrobot, I guess, weirdly enough, another Sony one. But apart from that, you're not seeing a lot of these types of games, specifically like the Ratchet part with weapons and guns and all the rest of it. So I really if you're into that kind of thing and you want a bit of nostalgia, this is what this game is. It's a nostalgia game because it harkens back to the PS2 era, like even gameplay, you know, story wise, level design is all very, very early mid 2000s. So if you know that going into it and your expectations aren't like super crazy, you can have a great time with this indie title. And you know, I played through the entirety of this game over the course of the weekend, and I enjoyed every moment of it. So I wanted to shout it out and get you guys to know all about it. So we'll do performance now, and then I'll talk more about the game afterwards, because performance is probably the biggest letdown with this game. It is on Unreal Engine 5, which, if you're not aware, Unreal Engine 5 is very hit and miss, and it can be kind of a heavy engine. So yeah, the game struggles a wee bit on Steam Deck specifically. So I will have in the video, you'll see it coming up behind you, my recommended settings. And unfortunately, you will need to lock it at 30 frames per second. Now, the in-game frame target lock, because you can do 30, 60, 120, 144, whatever. I find when I set that one to 30, it feels more jerky than using the Steam Deck Steam OS 30 FPS lock. So I use that one personally. You can use whatever one you think works or feels better for you to play. You can get 40 frames in this game, but it's not going to be a locked 40 FPS. And to be honest, I don't think it would be nice to have a locked 40, but yeah, so you can have a wavering 40 to 30 experience, or you can go for a locked 30. So I decided to go for a locked 30. One of the first major problems with the performance menu or options menu for graphics is always double check it. There's been the odd time where I've loaded up the game and I've had like horrendous frame rates, and it's because the settings have reset for some bizarre reason, and so I've had to go back and redo them. So just keep that in mind. So let's go through them real quick and talk about what there is. If you find this video really good, please give us a like and a sub. We've just reached 1,000 subs, and I'm really grateful for each and every one of you that have subbed. I know this channel can be a little bit weird in its variety. We go from guides to reviews like this to impressions of betas, so we're kind of all over the place, and I know that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like it, but again, I just want to say thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys being here. Okay, so let's head over to the settings menu here, go down to our video, and so I've got it on borderless here. You can be in any display mode. I don't think it's going to matter too much. A big one here is resolution. I've got it at 1200 by 1152 by 720. I found having it native 1280 by 800 it was really hard to get consistent frame rates, so I ended up just having to drop it down. So to me, it's a kind of a have to do. VSync off, AA, anti-aliasing, I've got TAA, which is Unreal's AA, which I think looks really good on here. High dynamic range is a yes. Now this one is a little bit more of you choose. They've got the one thing I would say, which is a kind of a letdown, is there's no way to change the brightness here of the HDR, so it does dim as soon as you turn it on. So if you're looking for a brighter contrast, you can't do that at the moment. That may be patched in a later date, but that's just something to be aware of. Frame rate cap, I've got unlimited here, but I've got it capped through SteamOS. I just feel it's smoother, but yeah, that's a personal preference. Render quality here is at 100%. Now, normally this would be my go-to way of getting more frames, especially in something like 7 Days to Die is what I use to get my frame rate up. But in this game, I think it's broken because I dropped it down to 80 and I ended up getting less frames than having it at 100. So I don't know whether it was just a one-off glitch or if there's an actual problem with render quality. So I've just left it at 100% because I couldn't quite get it to work as intended. And so that's what I've done there. Post-process quality, I've got on high, shadow quality high, texture quality high, depth of field yes, and motion blur yes. I find motion blur just makes the picture look smoother at 30 frames. That's a personal preference, of course. And one thing here which I just wanted to point out is, say, shadow quality. Usually shadows are what's quite heavy in most games, and normally I will drop these to medium if I can get away with it. Unfortunately in this game there's only high and very high. There's no medium or low, so you kind of out of luck there. So that's just something to keep in mind. And so after that, now that we've gone through the menu here, let's jump into some gameplay. Alright, so the story of this game's pretty straightforward. It takes you back to a much simpler time with storytelling, and it's a lot more fun and easy. You are sprung by your companion, and you are then let free. An invasion happens by this enemy robot race. You are then sent across the galaxy to stop it. You get sent back. I shouldn't really give away the story. Spoiler warning. Anyway, yeah, so story-wise, it's pretty run-of-the-mill. You're not going to get anything like ultra crazy going on here. But it does what it needs to do. It gets you from combat zone and platforming zone to the next, and you get to explore a few different biomes along the way. You start off on a nice sunny beach. You go to, underground area, like a cave area. You get to do a few space battles. You get a spaceship. You get to fly around and shoot things. You go to a volcano planet. You go to another semi-beach planet. It's the same planet as earlier, but you get to do some basically Jack and Dexter, like racing, Jack 3 I should say, racing around in a car. They're really leaning into all that Jack and Dexter, Ratchet and Clank stuff. And, for a small indie studio, it's, they're aiming for the moon here. So you got to give them credit for like trying to pull this off. And, I can say I really enjoyed it, but for some people they'll be like, oh, we might as well just play Ratchet and Clank, right? And that's a fair enough point to make, or Jack and Dexter, but I think you got to let some new life, make some new games. So if you're looking for something new to play, this is an option. You have your melee attack, and then over the course of the game you unlock 4 core weapons, which is a rifle, a sniper rifle, a rocket launcher, and a minigun. And then on top of that, when you blow crates up and things of that nature, you get points, which you can spend at shops to have basically one special weapon equipped. And there's 4 different special weapons you can unlock. You have a laser beam, and like a plasma rifle, and Akimbot pistols, and there's one more. And that side of it's not, I will admit, isn't overly interesting. I find it takes way too long to get the points to buy the upgrades for those secondary or your bonus weapon, and you can't upgrade your primary weapon. So, I don't really feel that 100%. Also, what I don't feel works is the car sections. The car feels very, very floaty. I think, Jack 3's car combat just felt heavy and weighty, where this definitely doesn't have that. It gets the job done, but it doesn't feel as good. So next up, just talking positives and negatives about the game, just for your, if you're thinking about picking it up, you should have, know this. Combat feels really good to start with. Like, I enjoyed combat for about the first half of the game, and then I found a difficulty spike when you got to the volcano planet. About halfway through that planet, the difficulty just spiked really hard, and a few things became apparent to me once that spiked, which kind of not ruined the experience for me, but definitely frustrated me more than they should have originally. I feel like enemy bullets track you really well. You have a jump, a double jump, and a dash, and I still get hit and die more often than I would appreciate. I'm not sure if that's a me problem, but it feels really annoying to be like trying to jump, double jump, and air dash and ground dash to get out of the way of shots, but still to be hit. And it just feels like the bullets are magnets sometimes. Not all of them, but some of them it's like there's no way I could possibly get out of that shot for some reason. Again, it could be a me problem, but yeah. But the combat itself, the weapons themselves, all feel pretty different, and they all feel pretty good to use. One side to that is the sniper rifle is bizarre to me, as it's a sniper rifle but there's no scope. It almost doesn't feel like calling a sniper rifle as they do is probably a mistake. You call it a bolt action rifle almost. Because if you use that rifle not zoomed in, and when I say zoomed in, if you pull left trigger, you kind of like, over the shoulder aim, you don't jump back. But if you shoot the rocket launcher or the sniper rifle at hip fire, you basically get jumped back a spot. But if you aim down sights / over the shoulder, that doesn't happen. What else have we got there that I want to talk about? As you're seeing the gameplay behind you, that's basically what's going to cause you to pick or choose whether this is up your alley. It's solid. It really is for what they're asking. I think it's a really solid little title, and again, it's more of a going back in time. You play the game, you finish it, and you move on, which is really nice, I think. And I think more games like this should be around, and it really does make me miss more action platformers. They used to be a dime a dozen, and now they're almost non-existent, so doing this was awesome. One more thing is the humor in this game doesn't really hit. Your sidekick character, his way of getting across humor is to just, he almost reminds me of a cheap claptrap, which I'm not really a claptrap fan, so that's more of a me problem, I would say. But he's not the greatest. The main character starts off as very dislikable, in my personal opinion, but as the game goes on, he's like, I want to be the good guy, we're the good guys. So he kind of has a little bit of a story arc, which is quite cool. and you meet one other main character, I would say, which is the professor. Well, not the professor, he's the processor. He's quite a nice character. I didn't mind him too much. It's just the sidekick character doesn't really do it for me. The sidekick character has a couple of his own little missions, which is quite cool. One is your on side-scrolling beat 'em up like mission that's out of the blue, and I wish there was more of those like random side play moments, because there's that one and one where you're playing him and it's basically a temple run thing where you're going through these like cave tunnels, but you've got to move left to right, and it's all like on rail lines, so you're going across, you double click to go this way and double tap to go the other way. And I thought those were great little bits, and I really enjoyed them. And finally, you do have a couple of large scale boss battles, which I think worked really well, and I can't wait for you guys to enjoy them. But with that, I'm going to call it there and say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Destroy his orbital cannons before they destroy materia.
Hey, don't touch my stuff! I just had it all detailed!
Those energy regulators, I mean, the glowing spheres. Shoot them now!
Do you have any idea how much these things cost?
2,614,721,337 bot coins each.
Ah! Just shut up!